This is a video of BanG's 4th anniversary trailer released by the English officials. And 4 years ago is the year of the first video released by the English officials. 7 years ago is the year of the first video released by the Japanese officials. Therefore, in a 10-year time lapse that BanG predicted to go through, 70% of the time has already been passed, and what is left seems less satisfying to most of us compared to the first 2 or 3 years. You see, the first single released by the core of this whole IP, Poppin Party's Yes One Dream, has accumulated 1.47 million views on YouTube and dozens of instrument covers. And one of the newest single, Poppin Dream, a replica of Poppin Party's early days, has only accumulated 100,000 views. And the one and only video that has passed 2 million views is the single called Introduction, collaborated with Ayase. Despite the heavy loads of collaboration that BanG officials has done during the previous month, I still find it harder to enjoy BanG nowadays versus the BanG older days. In detail, when Roselia, Poppin Party, Morfonica, and any other bands in this whole IP release their new singles, I cannot hold the same set of appreciation and satisfaction because I simply felt one thing. BanG songs nowadays sounds less enjoying than their old songs. Here's why. I started listening BanG during the year of 2017, and at that time, neither Morfonica nor Roselia exist, so the whole IP only had 5 bands. I still remember me and my classmates were listening to Starbeat, Louder, Black Shout, and many other Japanese rock and roll series because they are very good. And I still remember the one single moment in the anime series, that before the shout being sang, Yukina pointed out her pinky and swung her arms 45 degrees towards the sky. The same in the anime series and during live performances. It is the most memorable moment I could recall, and at that time I was so determined to watch a BanG's live performance by any of their bands, because I simply love it so much. But the one band that I love the most is Poppin Party. I find it very relatable when they are squeezing their times to practice and perform under Arisa's basement, and I find it even more relatable when Poppin Party performed the song Happy Happy Party for 3 consecutive series. 3 consecutive series? Oh, it perfectly mimics the practicing speed of a high school band. Because if the band is our school band, it will take 3 series with a 1 before the 3. Now, some audience might already noticed that when I record the early singles, I always relate them to the BanG anime series. But what does it mean though? You see, BanG is an anime music series, and most of the singles released early days has some kind of relations to the anime series. For example, Yes One Dreams is the single that BanG's first live performances. Louder and Black Shout are 2 main songs that get Poppin Party's attention during the start of the second series. And Roselia's single Riot is the exact one single that catches Taya's attention, making her wanted to leave Poppin Party and join Roselia at the end of the second series. Nowadays EPs, for example, Spectator by Roselia, Poppin Dream by Poppin Party, is related to their own theatrical versions, aka movies. Here, the main difference comes. TV series is available almost anywhere around the globe, so that most people who listen to BanG's early singles will have relations to their early anime series. But theatrical versions, aka movies, is not available in all regions indeed. Most of the theatrical versions are only first-handed and available in Japan, which means the region except Japan can hardly access to the newest theatrical versions, is hardly relating to the band's newest singles to anything. Let's take an example of Poppin Party then. First, let's listen to their first single, Yes BanG Dream. Then, let's listen to their latest single, Poppin Dream. While both of these songs sound wonderful for me, the first song, Yes BanG Dream, is a lot touching in my aspect. During the listening of the first song, I recall the met of the 5 band members, the goal of reaching the Kirakira shining scenes, and the image of them practicing under the basement with a smile on their face. On the other hand, Poppin Dream is good, but only at good, especially for those of people, including me, who do not have the access to theatrical versions, but for those who watch the theatrical versions of Poppin Party include the song Poppin Dreams in it, it still feels different when listening to Yes BanG Dream. The problem is, Yes BanG Dream is included in a series with long storylines, where the growth, development, emotions, conflict, and reunion is clearly shown and expressed. Theatrical version instead focus on an event and includes the song Poppin Dream. Due to the less amount of time, the storyline is heavily edited and compressed into the movie, and Poppin Dream's style is very happy and delighted. Two things combined, therefore the emotions does not come up as much when listening to Poppin Dream. You get what I mean, right? And a lot of the new singles, for example, Live Beyond, is not included in any storylines. It feels like a hollow album for me that I cannot relate to anything with. Maybe the new songs will sound better if the anime series continues with interesting and newer concepts. The second reason that I find BanG Dream songs nowadays less touching is due to a questionable mastering technique. Here comes more detail. Let's focus on the song Poppin Dream and have a brief listen. Now, let's pan the channel all the way to the left and have a brief listen. As everyone can hear, the keyboard sound is obvious in the left ear channel. Now, let's pan the channel all the way to the right and have a brief listen. As everyone can hear, the keyboard sound completely disappears, and the right channel's lead guitar sound does not appear in the left channel. This is known as panning, or stereo sounding, to make the sound wider, thus bigger and more powerful. But in Poppin Dream, it's a little bit strange. Let's do a small experiment. Use your right hand to cover your left ears and snap using your left hand just next to the covered left ear. Does the snapping sound still can be heard? Use your left hand to cover your right ear and snap using your right hand just next to the covered right ear. Does the snapping sound still can be heard from the left ear? Now, uncover both ears and snap at left and at right. How can the snap be determined whether it is at the left position or at the right position? I think you understand now. The stereo sounding exists because one side of the ear accepts louder noise than the other side of the ear. Thus, the sound is panned to that side. But that does not mean the other side cannot hear the sound completely. Fully panning the instrument to either side of the channel is only something that I heard from some EDM musics, but not any modern J-rock band. It sounds cool though, but a little bit unrealistic, and sounds isolated from the sceneries of Poppin Party's live performances, because normally speaking, if a rock music requires many post-mastering and editing little fine details, then the core of pure and straightforward is lost. That's why I appreciate the older days of BanG Dream when the J-rock still sounds like a rock music, with little or no post-editing or manually edit fine details. It may sound a little bit dry, especially during Poppin Party's first 3 albums. But that's how high school bands rolls, and that's how J-Rock and true Poppin Party represents. No panning on purpose, no drum fills on purpose, just pure J-Rock and true feelings. And I really appreciate the single start beat, when the panning exists, but the other side of the channel can still hear the melody of the instrument, and it sounds wonderful. The last but not least is that a problem exists in almost all music nowadays: loudness war. I am too tired to give a full speech about the progression about the loudness war, but long story short, it is basically people pay more attention on louder music, so the record labels makes their music sound louder. But with the peak of 0 dB, many dynamics that is beyond 0 dB is being cut, creating a loud but very nasty sounding. It is not a good thing though, but it still exists nowadays, even though it has resulted obvious consequences for the listeners. Enough talking, here comes the picture. This is the graph of yesbandream.ogg. As you can see, a lot of dynamics has already been cut, and it is already the victim of loudness war. But there are still gaps, leaving rooms for dynamic changes during the verse. And the contrast of verse and the chorus can be easily determined due to the dynamic change. What I mean here is that the verse is lighter and the chorus is heavier. Typical rock and roll progression, right? This is the graph of poppindream.ogg. Now this is on another level. The whole picture looks like a blue wall to me with little or no gaps during the breaks of each session. Even the verse's volume is heavily loaded, equals to the chorus's volume. Thus, the whole music sounds excited all the way from start to finish. It clearly portrays the mood of Poppin Party in the theatrical version, so don't get me wrong. But from the musical perspective, maximum volume all the way through is very noisy and can make the audiences feel really tired. For example, listening to Yes Band Dream 20 times versus to listening to Poppin Dream 20 times, you guys can have a try. Which one sounds better to you? I have uploaded 3 samples to the website www.loudnesspenalty.com. These 3 songs are Yes Band Dream, Starbeat, and Poppin Dream. The reason I kept repeating using the same 3 songs is to maintain the consistency of the experiment. The result is shown. Turns out, Yes Band Dream is the one that is being compressed the least, and Poppin Party's newest single is being compressed the most. But overall speaking, both of these 3 songs are way beyond normal LUFS levels. Check out Yellow by Coldplay, and you can see the clear difference between the Band Dream music and the others. I mean, it cannot be controlled by Poppin Party, and I believe Poppin Party have no words on the mastering of these singles. It's the music label's fault to put such good J-Rock music to such high volume and sound less wonderful after a lot of details got cut out. So, what is the meaning of this video? To blame on nowadays Band Dream shit mastering? Complain about their new singles being less sound good compared to the old singles? Not at all. I still love Poppin Party's new songs. Mirai Train is one of them. Introduction is another of them. I love these 2 new singles very much, but I just want to make this video. Being said, I am one of the players who experienced the introduction, growth, maturity, saturation of Band Dream's girls band party. And now, it is declining into the void. Declining into the history, same with Love Live School Idol Festival, declining till no one listens to Band Dream. The purpose of this video analysis is to encourage you to re-listen to Band Dream's old singles and recall the good memories back then, and smile because it happened.
ポッピンパーティーで 私、富山かすみ16歳。ポッピンパーティーってバンドやってるんだ。私はね、ギターボーカル。初めて見に行ったライブがすっごくキラキラで、私もバンドやりたいってそう思ったんだ。こんにちは、花園たえです。ポッピンパーティーのリードギターをやってます。ずっと一人で弾いてたんだけど、かすみにバンドやろうって誘われて、一緒にポッピンパーティーをやることになったの。応援よろしくね。はじめまして、牛込りみです。同じクラスのかすみちゃん、バンドに誘われて、それで思い切ってベースやってみようって思って、お姉ちゃんもバンドやってて、すっごくかっこいいんだ。私まだまだ下手っぴだけど、いっぱい練習してお姉ちゃんみたいになれたらいいなって思ってます。私は山口さあや。ポッピンパーティーではドラムを担当してます。家の手伝いしたり、弟と妹の面倒を見たりで毎日結構忙しくしてるけど、バンドも楽しんでるよ。いい感じのメンバーが揃ってると思うから、私たちのライブ見に来てほしいな。市ヶ谷ありさです。ポッピンパーティーというバンドで絵本いながらキーボードを担当してます。ほんとかすみに関わってたら振り回されてばっか。バンドもやるって言ってないのに勝手にメンバーにされてるし、まあ別にそこまで嫌じゃねえけど、真っ赤なランダムスターをジャーってしちゃうから、みんなにライブ見に来てほしいな。バンドリガールズバンドパーティー。